What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would talk about going to extremes when it comes to your fitness and your nutrition. I've experienced both extremes, both ends of the spectrum when it comes to fitness and nutrition, and I just thought I would share a little bit of my experiences and talk a little bit about why it's actually much better and much healthier to be more well-balanced when it comes to everything, not just fitness and nutrition, but just in life in general, with your work and your family. Just, it's better to have a well-balanced lifestyle in general. So I thought I would talk a little bit about my personal experiences with being extreme on both ends of the spectrum, especially when it comes to nutrition, but also when it comes to working out a little bit as well. So I'm going to get into that. For those of you that don't know, I've lost about 40 pounds, and I know I still have a lot more to go, and I'm working on it. But so far I've lost about 40 pounds, and I made some good progress. And the first 30 pounds or so that I lost in a very extreme way. I mentioned it in another video, but I didn't talk about it very much. I was eating extremely low carbs. I would eat somewhere between 50 and 60 grams of carbs a day, which, if you don't know, is extremely low. But I did that for like 3 months straight. And not only did I eat extremely low carbs, but I was also working out twice a day on a lot of days. I would go and do 30 or 45 minutes of cardio in the morning, and then I'd go back to the gym in the afternoon. I'd do like an hour or an hour and a half of weights, and then I'd do another 20 or 30 minutes of cardio after that. So I was working out a lot. And low carbs, one of the side effects of extremely low carbs is low energy. Carbs just give you energy. They're what your body uses as fuel. It burns carbs to provide energy for both working out and just for everyday tasks. And so when I was eating extremely low carbs, I would spend basically the entire day sitting or lying around on the couch doing nothing because I had literally no energy. And I would just use all of the little energy I had to work out twice a day. And I would actually have to drink an energy drink or take a pre-workout before I was able to do any sort of physical activity, because my body just didn't have the energy to do it. And that's not healthy, it's not sustainable, and it's definitely not enjoyable. But for me, I just tend to be someone who goes to extremes with almost everything in my life. And that's something that I'm working on, trying to live a much more balanced lifestyle. And it's, at least when it comes to my nutrition, it's improved a lot lately. After I lost the first 30 pounds, I started to realize that what I was doing just wasn't sustainable. And I knew beforehand that it really wasn't smart. But like I said, I've always been someone that goes to the extreme with just about everything in my life. And so I did it anyway, and 3 months in or so, I just felt horrible. My energy was low, my mood was taking a toll. I just felt terrible. And so I decided to increase what I was eating a lot. I actually increased my carbs probably up to like 280 or 300 grams a day. And that's a lot of carbs, at least for me. But I started to realize that I wasn't gaining weight. I wasn't losing weight. I was maintaining my weight where I was, and I was happy with that. I was happy to see that I could actually eat a lot more carbs than I thought and not gain weight. So I maintained my weight there for probably about 4 months. And 2 months ago, a little less than 2 months ago, I got back into losing fat, so I reduced my carbs, but this time I reduced them a lot less than I did the first time. I'm probably eating somewhere around 200 to 250 grams a day, and I'm losing weight. I've lost about 10 pounds in the last month and a half or so. So it's working, but at a much slower rate, which is fine. It's much healthier, much more enjoyable, much more sustainable, and I'm just happier with it. And the point of this video is not to encourage you to go and start eating a lot more than you do now. It's just to say that especially when it comes to nutrition, but also fitness and how many times you work out, the best approach is just a sustainable one, an enjoyable one, one that's well balanced, one that you can maintain for hopefully a long time. So for me, tracking macros, which I'm not even currently tracking macros, I've talked about that as well. I'm estimating the macros that I'm eating, and at some point I know I'm going to have to start tracking, but for me this is an approach that is enjoyable, something that is sustainable for me. But if you don't like the idea of macros and you'd rather follow a different nutrition plan, by all means, whatever works for you, whatever you enjoy, whatever is sustainable. The main message here is just try not to go to extremes. I've also experienced the other side of the spectrum when it comes to nutrition. There was a time in my life about 2.5 years ago when I was just eating terribly. I would eat fast food for 2 meals a day sometimes, and I was eating just junk food. I was eating cookies, cake, ice cream, whatever I wanted. I would have whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and I gained a lot of weight. I've always been overweight, or at least for most of my life I've been overweight. But while I was eating like that, I was at my heaviest for sure. And I wasn't happy. I didn't feel good physically. I didn't feel good mentally or emotionally. My mood took a huge hit because of the way I was eating. And I just decided that I'd had enough. But instead of taking a smart, healthy approach, I just went to the other extreme. And I started eating extremely low carbs. And that wasn't healthy either. So I went from one unhealthy extreme to the other unhealthy extreme. And so I've had experience with both sides of the spectrum, and I can tell you from personal experience that neither approach is healthy, neither approach is enjoyable, neither approach is sustainable. So just somewhere in the middle is really the best approach. Find foods that you enjoy eating, find foods that are available to you. And but make sure they're pretty healthy. My approach when it comes to nutrition, the way I think about it, is not just tracking macros, but I try to break it up into percentages. So I think of it like this: if I can make 75% or so of what I eat whole foods like rice, chicken, vegetables, fruits, healthy whole foods, then I can make 10% or 15% of it artificial stuff that tastes really good, stuff that makes food more enjoyable, but isn't necessarily the best for you, stuff like there's a sugar-free syrup that I really like, or artificial sweeteners, stuff like that. It makes eating foods a lot more enjoyable, but it's not the healthiest for you. And then the remaining 10% or so of it can be eating whatever I want. It can be cookies or junk food or something if I want. I like breaking it up into those percentages. It makes it easier for me to think about. It makes it seem more doable to me mentally, and it's working for me. So if you want to try that, feel free. But once again, just whatever works for you is really the best approach. Anyway, I just thought I would share that with you guys, and I want to encourage you with everything in your life, just try to live a well-balanced life. Spend time with your family. I know now that's actually easier than usual to do, now that we're all stuck at home. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying healthy. By the way, if you haven't already, I would really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, or if you've enjoyed any of my other videos, and give this one a thumbs up. If you have any questions, if you just want to talk about anything you're going through, any trouble you're having, if you have questions about losing weight, working out, whatever it is, please feel free to leave them in either the comments down below, or you can get in touch with me on any of my social medias. I'll link them all in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.